Hi everyone. Today in this tutorial I'm gonna show how to zoom on image on hover, zoom or grow image growth on hover. I will show three ways of how to do it. This is continuing a request of one of the subscribers. Sorry, her name is Mariam. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She asked me to show how to make this effect. So with pleasure and pleased to do that. And I will show three ways of doing it. One of them is quite simple and straightforward, very easy to do. It's an overlay. I just place my mouse on an image. It comes to the middle of the screen or anywhere else I want to place it. The plus in an overlay is that it can always be opened in the center of the screen, and I can darken the screen behind it, which is very nice, which I can't do actually with interactive components. So for each method, there is a plus and there is a minus. Okay, the minus is that it's quite simple. It cannot behave like a component, which actually I can use the same overlay for each image. I have to create an overlay for each image that I wanted to show a big image. So it doesn't behave like a component. I can just change the content and it keeps the behavior of this, let's say, interactive component. Okay, so that's one method of doing it, quite simple. And I will show that as well, of course. Auto layout, I can have an interactive component which on hover just grows like that, which is pretty nice, nice smooth animation. And I can use the same component, just change the image and it keeps behaving like that. By the way, if you are not familiar with components and interactive components and variants, I do have other tutorials to explain that more in depth and better. So I guess you should learn more about it. And same as for auto layout, which here I'm using a simple auto layout, but anyway, just to understand the behavior and how we do place elements in auto layout and how do they behave in an auto layout. So that's pretty important as well, of course. So again, this animation, which is pretty cool. And the last one is grow. I called it, it's just a name that I gave it. Grow above layers means that if I put my mouse on this image, it's gonna grow above the other layers. I have this one and this one and this one. So the plus is that it grows nicely above the other layers. The minus is that I have to place this layer, and this layer physically in the layer panel above the other layers, or else it's going to be something like that, meaning I can't control or make it that the moment you grow, you just go above the other layers. You just have to physically place it above the other layers. Okay, so it's not like in programming, but anyway, it's nice. It opens in a nice way. And as you see, each method has a plus and a minus, I guess, like everything else in life. So without being very dramatic, yeah, let's go into it and let's start doing it. Okay, so I just created a few images here. I didn't create the images. I didn't actually take a photo of them. I just placed them in a shape, and I have like 5 images here that I'm going to use in this tutorial. Okay, so overlay, I can just take an image. Let's take this one, doesn't matter. So I'm taking this image, and in a very simple way, I'm just making it bigger like that. And I have to place it in a frame, because when we want to open something as an overlay, it has to be inside a frame. I mean, I cannot connect or make an interaction to just an element or any shape that is out there and bring it as an overlay. I have to place it inside a frame, right click or this shortcut, sorry, this one, frame selection. So now I have the image inside a frame. Okay, and now I can interact with it when it's inside a frame. So I'm just going to connect it here, and I'm getting this window that asks me, okay, what do you want to do? I mean, how do you want to create this interaction? So not on click, but while hovering, because we are talking about hover animation, sorry, and hover interaction. The animation, I'm going to keep it as dissolve. Let's give it like half a second. 500 milliseconds is half a second. You can put your mouse here and see basically how does it happen, the speed of it. Okay, if I will make it 200, you will see now that it happens quite fast. It's even too fast. Okay, let's give it even a, let's be large. I'll give it a 600 milliseconds. That's okay. And here, instead of navigate to, I'm gonna select open overlay. So when I'm opening as an overlay, I can leave the default in this case, which is actually okay, meaning that the placement of this overlay when it opens on the screen is going to be center, meaning center vertically and center horizontally. Okay, and so it's just going to be in the center of the viewport, even all right to say. Close when clicking outside. Yes, when I'm clicking outside the image, it's going to close. But actually, you know what? If I'm doing a hover interaction, I don't really need that. Sorry, I'm correcting myself. I don't actually need that, because on hover, the moment I move my mouse from this one, it's going to close. Yeah, in hover, that's the way it's going to happen. That's it. Add background behind overlay. Definitely yes. And I'm going to give it even a 60%. I can select the color that is going to darken the screen with. Black is fine for me for right now. Good. Animation is dissolve, 600 milliseconds as we defined. Let's see it in action. Okay, let's see how it goes. Fit width, and that's it. We have our overlay. Pretty simple, straightforward, and easy. Okay, yeah, that's pretty nice, easy. That's a no-brainer, as we say. Really simple. Okay. The only minus is that again, as I said, it doesn't behave like a component. If I want to do an overlay for this one and this one and this one, I have to create a separate overlay for each one of them. Okay, so that's a bummer. I don't like that. But sometimes if this is the behavior that we want, then it's great. It's very simple, works perfect. Why not? Great. Okay, now let's put these ones here. You know what? I'm gonna actually take just one. Okay, I'm gonna take one, and I will make it a component. Don't mind the names. I'm working with just not really any specific normal names for it. It's just working. I just want to show technically how to do it, so that's okay. And here, so I have a, let's call it an image slash default. Okay, component image slash default. So we have the component is actually a frame, and we have the image inside this frame. Good. Now what I will do is plus variants. I'm going to add a variant to it. I'm going to make this one bigger. And yeah, so I'm going to take this one. I will call it hover, because that is our second variant. And this one, actually, I'm going to make it, this is where I'm going to make this variant bigger. Okay, so let's do it like that. By the way, I'm gonna select the image inside it and give it here. It's a scale. Okay, I see that it's already on scale, which is good. So I'm just gonna press shift on the keyboard and grow it Let's make it something like that. We can always fine tune it. Yeah, something like that. I think it's enough. Okay, good. So we have actually these two very simple variant. I mean, the component is quite simple. I have a default one and a variant, which is a bigger one on hover. Okay, so prototype, I'm going into prototype and connecting this one that while hovering is going to change to this bigger image. Great. So we're going to select here smart animate. I'm not going to make it a dissolve, which is just fade in. Smart animate. Let's make it a, I think 400 milliseconds is good. Let's see exactly how it happens. And of course, we can always easily fine tune it. Okay, so I'm taking this image, this component actually, and duplicating one to my screen. By the way, I couldn't take all these images because I want it to be a component, and now I will place more images inside it. Let's just test drive it and see that it, oh, see that it happens. Yeah, it's not happening in the right way. I will fix it very quickly. Okay, I mean, it does the interaction, but not in the way we want it to, and I will show exactly how to do it in the correct way with the auto layout. Okay, so let's, let's do a few here, and I'm gonna open my Unsplash. Here it is, my Unsplash, and I am gonna change these images. By the way, you see I'm selecting the image itself inside the component. I'm gonna select nature, and yeah, let's just do it really quickly. It doesn't really matter which image. Yeah, take this one and this one. Okay, great. So we have our images. By the way, as you see, the big plus, of course, with working with a component is that I can just change the image on the component and they will behave, they will do the interaction inside the component. Of course, it looks weird now and we will fix it now, but anyway, that's the big plus with a component. I create a behavior and I can duplicate it and keep on using that. Okay, so here I'm gonna add auto layout. I can do that by Shift A as well. Auto layout, and the way I'm configuring this auto layout is I'm aligning it to the center. Okay, and you will notice that now even when I hover, you see that it does something like that, which is pretty weird. Okay, but I knew it's going to do it. I just said I want you guys to show, I mean, to see exactly how, sorry, to see how it happens. And the reason is that it's doing that, two reasons. We have two problems here. One, that it's growing. It does push the images to the side, but it grows to the right side and it doesn't stay centered. You see, it grows to the right side. I mean, all these images are going to the right side and it goes down. So first of all, we're going to place this one in the middle. It's already in the middle. And notice that this auto layout sits on the frame here, which is the frame of the screen. In the constraints of it, I'm going to put it center. Okay, and when I put it in center, it's gonna animate to the center and not to the sides. This overlay. Okay, so you see, it does the center, but it still goes down. The reason it goes down, I'm on purpose explaining all these things for you guys to understand it better. It goes down because I didn't actually define the area of animation by growing this auto layout. Okay, I have to grow it and give this image the place to grow without making the auto layout grow higher or smaller. Okay, higher or shorter actually. Or I think that if on this one I will just put it on fixed. Let me see now. Oh, yeah, so it does the job. So the thing is that it was in hug contents. And what happens in hug contents, by the way, when it's here in hug contents, the auto layout itself grows to be wrapped around the content, and that's why this happens. So it grows, and these images are going to the center of it. What you see actually in the animation, one second, let me explain that better. Hug contents, what you see in the animation is actually you see something like this. This is the animation that you see. Okay, it grows to the bigger image. Oh, you know what, I can show it. Why am I making such a big effort? I can just search default and hover. You see, this is exactly the animation that you see there. Now, if I put this auto layout on fixed, so now actually it's going to stay on a fixed height, and now you will see something like that. And this is the beautiful animation that we are seeing here. Okay, so check, this is method number 2. So remember all the steps that I did here to make it work nicely. Okay, good. Now the third option, I'm gonna take another one. Okay, let's take this one, and I will use actually the same, no, yes, no, yes, yeah, I'm gonna use the same image. Yes, I do. And you know what, actually, sorry, I can take all of them. I can just duplicate this auto layout, and I'm gonna remove the auto layout. I'm gonna keep them in a frame, which is not a must, by the way. I'm gonna remove the auto layout because, let me explain. The auto layout creates a responsive relations between the items in it. Okay, meaning if I grow this one, you will see that the other ones are keeping the same space between them, and it has a responsive relations with the other elements. You see? Now, when it's not in an auto layout, it doesn't happen. Meaning, if I grow this one, it's just gonna go like this. Or, let me see the first layer here. It's this one. If I'll grow this layer, it's just gonna go above the other ones. They don't have any responsive relations between them when it's not in an auto layout. Okay? Now, the way to approach this is we need actually to do two things. One thing is I'm going to take an image. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take actually a component. You know what? I'll detach it and create new ones because we are changing the way that it's built. I'll explain in a sec. Okay, let's go with this one. I'll detach it and make it a new component by clicking here. Okay, so that's going to be an image, and this will be our default. And now I will add another variant to it, exactly as I did before, something like that. Okay, and now yeah, this is going to be hover, and look at what I'm doing now. The way that I'm going with this is because I want the image to grow from the middle. I will keep this frame, this one, I will keep it the same size and in the center because I don't want it to change the size from this one. This is what will keep it opening in the middle and not going like jumping from, let me show you. I'll explain it better, sorry. So when I have two different size frames, two variants actually, and I'm switching between them in an interaction, when I put it on auto layout, that's fine because the auto layout maintains, or I can create through the auto layout the behavior, the screen behavior that I want. If it's not in an auto layout, what will happen is that we will see animation that it will jump from this size to this size, always maintaining the top left, and we will see like weird jumps between them. If I don't want it to happen, so what I'm doing is this. I'm keeping the same frame size, it's bigger, like that. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually growing, or actually making bigger, sorry, only the image itself, okay? The image itself, and you will see that the frame, the component actually that contains it or keeps the animation, keeps the size of it, sorry, the component itself stays the same size, okay? It stays the same size, and this image will grow, but we will not see any weird movements when it grows. Okay, you will see it happening now on the screen. The other thing that I want to do is I want to give it a shadow to make it a bit darker around it when it grows, as I did there. So I can select the image and I will do it. I'm doing it on the image and not on the component itself, because I want the shadow to grow with the image. So you know what, let me do it here first on the image. Sorry, I will add it an effect. Let's give it a drop shadow, but be an aggressive one. Blur 100. I'm gonna give it a Y0 and 25. Even give it like more aggressive one, 40. Okay, let's see how it goes. Now I will select it. I will copy Control or Command C, and I will double click and select this image here, Control or Command V, and now I will give this shadow 0 opacity. So I'm animating also the visibility of the shadow. Here it's 0 and here it's as I defined it. Okay, so copy this image, bring it to here. That was weird. What happened? Oh, I have these guys as well here. Sorry. Yeah, okay, so we don't need this one, and I will bring it. Sorry, weird things happen here. Copy and paste, and that's all I want. That's it. Okay, and yeah, let's give it 5 images. That's okay. And the only thing that I will do now is give it a different, where is it, nature. Okay, yeah, let's give it this images, these images. Actually, as I said, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we have our images. The second thing that we have to do, as I said, it cannot automatically grow above the other layers. So what we have to do is physically just place the layers that we want to grow above the other layers, just put them on top. So this one is going to be on top in the layers hierarchy here, and I'm going to take this one and put it second, and this one is the third one, which is okay. Okay, let's see what happens now on the screen. Okay, nothing happens on the screen. Oh, I know why nothing happens on the screen, because I forgot to create the interaction between these two variants. Yes, I have to do that. If not, it's just not gonna work. Now, when I'm stretching this arrow from here, connect it not to the image, but to the frame of the component. Okay, don't be mistaken. Not to this one, to this variant. Okay, so that is while hovering, 400 milliseconds. Yeah, I think it's okay. And let's see what happens now. Yeah. Okay, so this is, yeah, we need to and the other thing, by the way, you see the other minus of it, that it doesn't move, meaning if the image is a bit bigger or goes all the way to the far end, the left end, it's not gonna move the images. So we have this one, we have this one. We place these ones above these ones. You see, when I'm opening this one or making zoom into these ones, they just grow below this ones because they cannot just automatically be above them. So that's the way to do it with this ones. um, Okay, so I think that that's pretty much it. I hope it was. We have like so many image grows. Whoa, whoa, we're having a war, a Zoom war here. Yes. Okay, the Zoom wars. So, yeah, I think that that's pretty much it. The other thing that I didn't mention, basically, I mean, just by animating between one screen to another one, I mean, here I can create any animation that I want between this screen to this screen. But that means that each image I have to animate between one screen to another, and that's a bit crazy already with the possibilities that we have on the interactive component. So I guess that these are the three best ways that I see it. And by the way, just another thing, I'm talking a lot, but yes, I want you to understand it's not only for images, okay? It can be anything. It can be a frame that contains, let's say, an avatar and a description and a button or whatever. You can do it between two variants that contain any elements that you want. I am just showing it here on images, but it really doesn't matter. It works on any kind of elements, okay? Any frame that holds any elements inside it. Frame meaning it's a component. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I hope this tutorial was helpful. I will be happy for a like if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel makes me even more happy. And thank you for seeing this tutorial, and I guess see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Have a great Figma learning. Bye for now.